Good afternoon, HMS Bobcats. Mr. Fleto here. Welcome back to another great week at the Helena Middle School. Today's Bob lesson was one that I had lost there for a few years. I found one of my old channels. It's a long story. I'm super excited to bring this one back for a couple reasons. Playing the game is the name of this Bob lesson, and this Bob lesson talks about two really important things in life. The first is I have a lot of students ask me, why do I need to learn this? Why do I need this class? Why do I need this, that, and a third? I remember asking myself the same thing with some classes that maybe I didn't like, I wasn't interested in. One specifically when I was at Montana Western, I was in college and I needed a science elective to graduate. And I remember I took Chemistry 101. And to this day, I couldn't tell you anything I learned in that class. At the time I did. At the time I played the game. I jumped through the hoops. I learned enough. I think I earned a C in that class, needed that elective to graduate in business chemistry. Why do we need it? I don't know. I always think back of that class when I talk with students about different classes. And the reality of it is sometimes in life, you may not use everything that you're not going to use everything that you learn or that society or school or whatever asks you to learn. And I think that there's some real things that come from that. Can you be adaptable? Can you do things that maybe you don't see the point or purpose of? Employers are going to want to know that sometimes. The other thing that's a really important part of this Bob lesson is you don't need to be great at everything to be great at something. If you have a skill, you have an area in life that you're very good at, that you're passionate about, that you want to go learn more in, you'll see that on the Bob lesson as well. That's all you really need in life. So kind of two things. You got to be able to play the game, jump through some hoops in life, and that never ends, unfortunately. One of the reasons I'm not refereeing any postseason this year is because I didn't jump through the hoop and get my clinic done in time, and I have to pay the consequence of that. That's just how life goes. It continues. So I hope you guys like this Bob lesson. I hope you guys get something out of it and maybe learn a new perspective on why we have to do things sometimes in life that we don't feel the need to do.
All right, we are on to Bob lesson, playing the game. But first, this week, let's be our best at HMS. Let's be Bob. Let's be safe. Let's be responsible. Let's be respectful. And let's be a learner. In society, certain careers require certain levels of educational attainment to be eligible or to work in that career. For many of you that have done career cruising with myself or Ms. Panis and investigated some careers, you know this. Certain training programs are required to be completed, certain skill sets acquired, etc. In order to put yourself in a position someday when we get to be 18, 20, 22, 25, to get to where you need to be, it requires maybe jumping through some hoops in order to get there. I'm going to give you some examples of some different levels. Maybe that means earning a specific degree to be eligible. To be a teacher, you have to earn a degree in education, a bachelor's degree. Maybe earning a certain certificate to get a license. Maybe you have to earn a certificate to be a plumber or go through an apprenticeship program or a journeymanship program. Maybe graduating from high school so that employers know you have a base level of knowledge skill. Maybe putting yourself in a position for an advanced degree. Maybe that means getting a bachelor's degree and scoring a high enough GPA to where you can be considered to go on and get a master's degree or doctorate degree. Or maybe that means putting yourself in a position to gain acceptance into a prestigious college or university, kind of like Montana Western, winky face. Shout out to Mr. Mergel. Shout out to Miss Erickson. And maybe that means being a well-rounded. I know to get in to be eligible or to get accepted into some prestigious colleges, universities that are very highly competitive, it means being a well-rounded person. It means, yes, you can take care of business in the classroom, but what kind of volunteer work do you do in the community? What kind of leadership positions do you put yourself in terms of clubs and organizations? What else is there about you other than being an academia person? It may also require you don't get deterred from your goal because you fear your weaknesses will hold you back. And that's a huge part of this Bob lesson today is maybe you want to be a dentist someday, or maybe you want to be working in construction someday, or maybe you want to be a nurse someday, but you fear that your weaknesses might hold you back. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about here coming up. All right, I'm going to share my story with you as kind of an example of playing the game, setting a goal, and doing what you have to do to get to where you want to go. When I was your guys' age, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I loved sports. I loved athletics. I liked going to school. It wasn't my major weakness. It wasn't my major strength. But when I was in high school, I set the goal that I want to, number one day earn a college degree, and number two, I want to play college athletics and earn an athletic scholarship. And as you can see, these were two pictures of me from college. The one on the left was where I began playing quarterback at Montana State, and later on after I transferred, I ended up playing and earning my bachelor's degree and fulfilling my goal of playing college basketball at Montana Western. So what did that mean for me playing the game? That meant that I needed to score high enough on my ACTs and have a grade point average high enough to get accepted into a university, which at that time was Montana State University. And this is true story, folks. This is my high school transcript here on the right, and I know it's kind of blurry, but that meant for me earning a GPA of 3.0 and a class rank somewhere in the middle. I was actually almost 50th percentile. I was 157 out of 311, which meant I wasn't a super strong student. I was pretty average, as this shows. About 156 kids in my class of 1999 at Helena High School were smarter than me and scored better than me, and roughly another 150 some scored worse than me. I was right in the middle. I wasn't a straight A student. I know that it's blurry, and if you go down the list, you can't see the grades because they're X'd out. But I was able to put them up to the light and share some of my grades. And if you look on the left, these were all courses that I scored an average grades in: U.S. History, Algebra 2, Spanish, English, World Literature, American Government. These were classes that were hard for me. These were classes where I didn't always see the use of them. These were classes that weren't my strengths. But you know what I did? I worked my butt off in some of these classes, and I worked my butt off so that I could earn a C. And while some of these other classes that were my strengths, I was earning A's in and doing very good work in. And for those of you that know how GPA works, an A and a C is going to average out to a 3.0, and that was my total grade point average finishing high school. And so for those of you that maybe have classes that aren't your strengths, I'm kind of living proof and example right here that, you know, if you play the game and you make a goal and you work your butt off in some of these classes that aren't so easy, you too can get to where you want to be. I'm putting my academic records on full disclosure to you guys today. I decided to bring up some more real life transcripts from when I was at college at Montana State. Now you'll see the blue lines you'll have marked out. Again, I'm earning C's: history of American pop music, elementary statistics, algebra for college students. I know chemistry's in there somewhere. This was when I was really just going to school, trying to find my way, and I had to pass my classes to remain eligible to be a college athlete. And some of these classes were very hard, and they required that I put in some extra time and effort. If you notice at the point at the bottom there, I only had a 2.88 grade point average. Now, this was my college transcripts from when I did find my stride and I did get into a program that fit me and fit my skill sets and fit my passions. This was some of my grades from when I was in grad school learning to be a school counselor. You can see A's across the board. Now, let's go back to this one. If I wouldn't have took care of business here and played the game and got through it while I was finding my way and jumping through the hoops trying to get to where I wanted to go, I never would have been able to put myself in a position to graduate from grad school with a 3.88 grade point average, which I'm very proud of. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 examples at 3 different levels of education of what playing the game may look like. The first, becoming a carpenter or a builder. We have lots of Bobcats in this school that maybe school isn't their thing. Maybe Mr. Robertson's industrial tech is the best part of their week. They're hands-on, tactile learners. They love making things with their hands. Not a huge English fan, not a huge science fan. And that's okay. Maybe that looks like passing classes like social studies, English, algebra, geometry on the first try. So when you get to high school, you can take all the carpentry 1-2s, the computer-aided drawing class, the welding 1 through 4, industrial tech, and you can build those skills up and learn more about it. Maybe putting yourself in a position to go on to Helena College Technology on a 2-year degree and earn a certificate so you can go out there and be a builder, be a welder, be a carpenter. But maybe that means getting through those classes that you don't see the value in right now. How about becoming a nurse? That would mean graduating with 23 credits from high school and the right combination of a GPA, like I had to do, top half of your class, or score well enough on the ACT to get accepted into a college or university that has a nursing program. That may mean taking some required electives that you're not super excited about. And then once you are into college, spend extra time and effort studying for those hard classes like organic chemistry or human anatomy and physiology that you find extra challenging. And maybe when you get to high school, that means studying extra hard for those classes that are difficult instead of letting those classes be a deterrent in getting to where you want to go. How about becoming a dentist or a lawyer? And that's got the same requirements of graduating from high school with all those credits and earning a good score on the ACT. And then once you are in school, earning a good enough GPA to gain acceptance into a dentistry or law school, scoring with a high GPA, doing well in school, spending that extra time to earn a B instead of a C, or taking that extra time to earn an A instead of a B on some of those challenging courses. All right, so playing the game, what are the takeaways from what I'm trying to say today? Number one, you don't have to be great at everything to be great at something. I'm a firm believer that everybody in this school has something they can do better than 99% of everybody else out there. And part of that is playing the game so you can put yourself in a position someday to be able to do that. Another takeaway, we all have weaknesses. Don't let yours define your success. Maybe that means spending extra time on your weaknesses so that you can earn a C, so that you can get to where you want to go. Getting to where you want to go in life takes a game plan and a strategy. Get one. The next, work hard. Even if you don't see the reasoning now, someday you will figure it all out and be glad you left yourself that opportunity. Okay, you may not know what you want to do right now. Guess what? You're in the majority. Not a whole lot of middle school kids do. But I promise you this, if you work hard right now in school, you will one day figure it out, and then you will leave yourself that opportunity. If you don't work hard now and you fail out of school or you don't pass your classes, when you do figure it out, it may be too late. When am I ever going to use this? I hear this from a lot of kids. The truth is you may never use it, but you have to jump through the hoop to put yourself in a position to learn stuff you will use someday. All right, quote of the week: successful people find a way, unsuccessful people find an excuse. Something to think about this week.
All right, this week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week winners, we only had a couple. Nice work, Crosby Bramlett and Evelyn Emery. The two letters that filled in the letters to make up the word was possession. So those letters were O and S. The big ones were the missing ones. The uppercase ones were the missing ones. Lowercase were the ones that were provided. All right, this week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week. What 5-letter food appears in the following sentence? After Jacob read Paul Hollywood's book, he was inspired to take up baking. If you think you know the answer, get your answer into the Bob Box by the end of the week. Tune in next week to see if you are a winner. All right, Bobcats, let's make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.